All right, everybody, want to take a second to talk to you about an amazing sponsor. We have an amazing relationship with RayAllen.com. Ray Allen is a one-stop shop for everything dog, not just working dogs. Everything dog that you need, you can go down there, check them out, RayAllen.com. Awesome people. They got everything you need.
Another one of our favorite partnerships is with a dog trail. They've been with us from the start. Great collars, great ball poppers, great GPS tracking, big dog, small dog, bark collars, everything. I got everything like that they have at the kennel. We use it every day. Be sure to head them up, dogtrail.com. Listen for the discount code later in the episode.
Hey guys, it's going to happen. August 16th through the 19th. HITS is coming back. The HITS Canine Conference in Orlando, Florida, August 16th through the 19th. Get on there. It's the biggest, the best. Check it out. HitsCanine.net. HitsCanine.net. Get registered now.
Take the guesswork out of making sure you're feeding your working dog correctly by using Kinetic Dog Food. Hit them up at kineticdogfood.com and look them up on the Instagrams at Kinetic Dog Food. Take all the guesswork out and do it right from the beginning.
We love Horizon Structures. Dude, this stuff is so awesome, man. You can get online. You can talk to them. You could build it you want from mild to wild. They'll come bring it to your place, set it down on your pad, hook up your power, hook up your water, and you can put dogs in it that day. If you don't believe me, check out some guys like Justin Rigney's got a great setup there. Ask him. Check him out, horizonstructures.com. We are back, everybody. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite. As usual, from Canton, Ohio. My name is Eric Stambro. With me, as always, is my co-host, Ted Summers from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ted, what is going on over there?
Worky. Training pet dogs and police dogs. I feel like I say the same thing every episode. But we are super knee deep in pets and police dogs. I just ordered another, I don't know, three police dogs. We've got 3 single purpose going on, a couple dual purpose going. Hired another.
You ordered them on Amazon? Like,
yeah.
They ship in like 2 days.
Yeah, not with fucking COVID. Yeah, no, not quite, but yeah. So it's been busy. Hired another intern. Got back from the last HRD of the year in South Carolina. It was awesome. We had some good teams, good location, really good teams. I was pretty surprised. The next one's not till the very, very end of January in South San Francisco. So. We're looking forward to that one. It's going to be a good one too. It'll be our first one out on the West Coast. Yeah. So other than that, getting ready for New Year's, or not New Year's, Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. Fuck me, Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're doing a deal where we're gonna do like a week long, like not train, but we're gonna board dogs for people and do what I'm just calling brush up, which. A lot of people want to board their dogs. They're either traveling or they have a lot of people in town. Their dogs are dickheads. So I end up, so rather than just being like, yeah, I'll just babysit the dog and we're going to do something, I'm going to give the intern something to do. So that, and we've still got a lot of the police dog stuff going on. We've got a couple of decoy schools. They're going to be happening January, February that are already full through the state here. So yeah, I mean, other than that, we are rocking and rolling. What about you?
Well, yesterday in Ohio, here in Canton, Ohio, it was 40. Today it was 71. So
you guys are going to get slammed though, right?
Sleeveless. Yeah, and then tomorrow it's going to be 49. So I can hear the wind going outside, which means the temperature's dropping. But today was a beautiful day. And you know what I spent the entire day? Well, I hit the facility at 7 in the morning, bang out a bunch of reps on police dogs. And then I went to my Wednesday tattoo appointment. For those who don't know, I'm working on a full suit of no neck, no head and face, of course, and nothing else but this one on my hand and nothing on my feet. So today they finished my entire front of my torso except a little bit right here. So if you got to go to YouTube to see it. This side's up into my armpit on my left side. That was awesome. He's gonna fill in this little spot here. That's gonna suck a whole bunch of dick right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a huge piece on my back, and he's got to fill in some space and come over the top of my shoulders a little bit with it. So it's 3 hours at a time. Every single Wednesday I go. It's brutal. It's just straight up masochistic horse shit. But it's my daughter came down to visit from her college is about 30 minutes away. She came to visit and walked in. I see her go, because I was laying on the thing. Because the other day I just had the left rib piece done, the right rib piece done, and he filled in all of this today. So that's what I got going on besides the dogs. So I got some, I took all of October off for police dogs, loaded back up this month, and I sold one to a department the other day. I'm going to do Green Plus on the dog, which is a dog imprinted on odor, started on everything else, introduced to e-collar and all that. So it's a really, we've talked about it before. It's a really good deal that I give to departments. And it's a way for me to sell dogs that I have in the kennel that are not green and not finished, so
it doesn't take them that long to finish it either.
No, it's designed for somebody that has a trainer that wants to bang out, and finish, get maybe even an experienced handler and start the class together. And in 6 weeks, you can be completely finished. So, so I'm working on him, and I got some other ones that are getting tested on Monday. So I'm doing a bunch of OB and stuff on them just to make them, a little bit more marketable, I guess. So I'm doing something with them that we do with the pet dog. So at my pet side of the business, I have 12 trainers, and at my facility, I have a bunch of people that work in the doggy daycare, and I have three or four trainers that work in the building. They do day training dogs, which, as people know, is drop off, pick up every day. And then we do board and trains that stay at the facility. We have a night shift and everything. And then all the rest of the trainers do board and trains. So those dogs that are at the facility, we do so many reps the first 3 days. First 2 days are all teaching them every single command, hundreds and hundreds of reps a day. And then the next day is the same thing. We add a little bit. And then third day starts the e-collar. By the end of the third day, a regular dog's ready to go home. So I'm like, I'll try that with these guys. So Jordan, who works with me on the police dog side, we started on Monday with 3 dogs from Europe that know nothing, 0 commands at all. 2 of them are from Poland. I don't even know how you do those commands. And one of them's from Mexico. I said vamonos. I think he knew that. He looked at me. I changed it all. So the 2 Mals, I'm doing Dutch commands, and the German Shepherd, I'm doing German commands. And so they know nothing. And we did 300 reps of OB commands Monday, another 300 on Tuesday. This morning, I was up there at 7 a.m. so I could layer the e-collar over everything. Those dogs are flying to command. I put a bunch of it on my social media. You can go watch it on Van S Canine on Instagram. And there's a lot. Dogs flying on the place without an e-collar or without a leash on. I teach a place command with police dogs. I didn't used to, but I do now, because I use it as a basis to start the downstay. Everybody's got to do some form of downstay in their certification. So I teach them on the place cot, and then they'll learn to stay there for a long time. Then on maybe cardboard or something on the floor, and then nothing. And it takes like a week. It's not long. But so that's what I'm doing. I'll be up there again at 7 in the morning tomorrow and cranking out reps. I told Jordan, I said, the one shepherd I have, he's pretty bad motherfucker. We got to start doing more fun things, because these 3 days of obedience, he's getting kind of mopey.
I saw him fighting the down earlier.
Yeah. But
he's like, this is bullshit. Yeah.
If you step back, he'll offer it. But if you are engaged with him, having him do it, you have to physically force him to do it. It's dogs. So anyways, what do we got going on today, buddy?
So, we'll cut that out.
Yeah.
So, damn. All right. So tonight we have on a handler from a group of guys that we are friends with, guys that have been on the podcast before. Tonight we have on Josh Hargis from 3rd Ranger Battalion. Josh, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me tonight.
Yeah, man. Super good. I was just telling you before we started talking, one of our other guests is one of your friends, Trent, who's one of my friends. And we've had Trent on before, and I've known Trent for years, I just mentioned I was in South Carolina, and one of the other battalion kids was there. Gavin Dwyer was down there with me, decoying for us. So Yeah, it's,
Gavin's got quite the beard, by the way.
he does. Like,
I mean, it's
yeah.
it's impressive.
He looks fucking weird with a beard. Gavin, I'm sorry, I love you. But he looks weird with a beard. I stood there for 2 days. I stared at him and I'm like, what the fuck? So
it changes the way he looks for sure.
Yeah, we were telling the story about he came to HRD version 0.0 in Florida. And he was down there. He was like, well, he's teaching some of the cops how to clear a room. He's like, well, right now, we just fucking throw a frag. I'm like, no, we're not. No, you're not doing that. We're not throwing grenades. These are police officers. And he was like, well, what are you supposed to do? And I'm like,
he's
okay.
like, I'll be at the bar.
Yeah. So, Josh, give us a little bit of your background and getting into the Army, and then we'll start talking about some of the Dogo stuff.
Yeah, so my journey actually started, I was 17. I tried to sign up in high school, broke my femur messing around skiing. So that kind of put things on the back burner. About a year later, tried to get in, and I actually got denied about 5 times before I was actually allowed entry into the military. The recruiter, I wanted to do something really fucking cool. So started off actually with the Air Force, tried to get in with the PJs, but the Air Force guys, turns out they're really lazy. Went to the other recruiter station where they're all like in the same building. Went to the Navy to talk about the SEALs, and they're like, nope, you're too young. Went over to the Army, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? Like, I want to do something really fucking cool. I want to be a badass, run and gun. And he pulled up a video of the Rangers and grinning ear to ear. Yep, that's what I want to do. Of course, they didn't have any contracts, but he told me I could just get one in basic training. So I went and just had a blast in basic. I really enjoyed the process. It was a lot of stupid shit, but I was in pretty good shape and a really sarcastic prick. So I had fun with the drill sergeants. And at the end, I was able to get a Ranger contract, which was really awesome. I was really excited about it. Went through airborne, got to RASP, and had a really good time. It really sucked, but the whole process of just finding out who you are as an individual, how far you can push yourself, breaking through a lot of those mental barriers. Selection for a Ranger Regiment was an absolutely incredible experience. At the end of it, they line everybody up, ask where you want to go. Of course, everybody wants to go to first bat and hang out at the beach. And
they sent you to third.
Yep. So, you're going to hang out here at Fort Benning with us for a while. So my entire career in the military was there at Fort Benning, which was awesome. Heat and humidity, absolutely loved it. But I got to 3rd Battalion, and I was a member of Bravo Company right at the end of their training cycle, getting ready for deployment. And it was right after a really tough deployment for them. They lost quite a few guys on the deployment before, and being a new guy, I didn't understand fully what I was coming into, what I was becoming a part of. And it's tough. You got to earn your keep whenever you get there. So there is absolutely no easy day. But later on down the road, it all definitely paid off. Being part of Bravo Company, my first sergeant was Phipps, and he was a part of Operation Gothic Serpent. And another one of the team leaders, his father was Master Sergeant Gordon. And so I became a part of this incredible legacy. And it is something to be incredibly proud of.
So real quick, 2 things. First, back up. Where are you from originally?
Originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask this because this is going to be important later on. But talk about like high school sports. Were you a stud? What were you into? What'd you do?
Not a stud by any means, but I love sports. That was everything that I did. I grew up in Boy Scouts, so being outdoors, that's where I found myself. That's where I could always hit that reset button and just get outdoors, go camping, go hiking. But then growing up, always baseball. From the very beginning was, yeah, exactly. Going to the Reds games with family and just hanging out and watching them. Best memories ever.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Gilbert A. Dater High School. Our sports were actually combined with Western Hills High School.
Okay, I've heard Western
Hills. Yeah, it's where Pete Rose went to high school.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you were a Moeller kid, Cincinnati Moeller or any of that.
We always played against them.
Yeah.
We always got our asses whooped by them.
Yeah, them dudes were recruiting grown men to come play there.
Yeah, Western Hills High School by no means is a great place to be.
Yeah. So going forward to the bouncing up to the Ranger Regiment. Now we always talk this stuff with Ranger guys that are on here. First, were you in the running Ranger era, or were you in the weightlifting, packing on pounds era of the Rangers? Because all the Ranger guys I know are massive, but everybody else we talked to, like, dude, when I was there, everyone ran marathons every day, and we were all just lean.
Yeah, I've always been a little bit more of a runner. I'm on the more of the lean side, so I always enjoyed the running part more of it. But then my team leader and some of the other guys in our team, they were more of like the weightlifters. So the running stuff was a breeze for me. I really enjoyed it. But there was always that emphasis on the weightlifting, on bulking up. But they really focus more on the running, the cardio, the fitness.
Cool. Okay. So 2-part question here on the Rangers. One, do you want to take this time to talk shit about first and second bat? And everyone I know from any battalion that was in BCO says ACO and CCO suck. Is that true?
All I can say is BCO 375 by far is the best.
Of course.
If you want to go to Ranger Bat, everybody wants to go to BCO 375.
Perfect. See, you had it. The next guy on will be like, no, 2 ACO. Come on now.
Yeah, right.
Like, no, right. Yeah. No one's believing that. So I have a buddy of mine that was he was in second bat, BCO, and he has some great stories of in the team areas, shenanigans. Their biggest thing was they had a big Hulk fist and they would hide, and you come down the hallway and they just jump out and smash you in the face. And then he smashed like a first sergeant by accident or some shit. Was there a lot of like just kind of wild shenanigans and stuff like that there? Just team building stuff?
We were attack dogs from day one. I mean, it can be in the same platoon, different squad. If somebody comes into your AO, we're fucking attack dogs. So they're like, go get them. And somebody's got to tap.
Somebody's got to lose.
Yeah, somebody's got to lose.
Doesn't necessarily have to be me, but it's got to be somebody.
Yeah.
Sucks to suck.
Nobody cares. Try harder.
It was good team building exercises, though, for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Get to know your buddies real quick.
So you get in there. You're in BCO. You do guys. Do you deploy just as a Ranger, or did you get into the dog stuff first? Do you have a deployment before you got into dogs?
Yeah, so I did 3 deployments on the line. I was a grenadier, a rifleman, and then a machine gunner. In that order for my first 3 deployments. The first one, like I said, I got there right before a deployment, so I had no training, but they said that I was going over there with them. I was really excited about it, but a little hesitant about going out. So the first month and a half, I didn't do anything. I was over there with all the guys. I did all the training, the glass houses, just figuring out the job, what to do, what my role was. And then about a month and a half through it, I was able to go out on target. And at that point, pretty much still just a pack mule.
Yeah, of course. Got to be a junior guy somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So Ted and I have talked over the years to guys from any kind of special operations unit that had dogs. And everybody tells me that when you listen to them talk, how the Rangers were deploying their dogs and how many bites they were getting and how much work and just how busy they're going in a 6-month cycle, getting 100 bites maybe, or just some crazy work, like work. And I met guys that were in the Ranger Battalion and the guys like, squad leaders, like I always took 2 dogs. We never went without them, and it was always around that time that you were in. So when you get out there as a grenadier and a rifleman and a machine gunner, what were you seeing out of the dogs then?
The most interaction I had was my first deployment, and our canine handler, he had a pretty good relationship with some of the guys on my team. And so I got to see him work and got to interact with him a little bit. But for the most part, all of their training, their stuff was a little bit separate from everything that I was doing. And especially with being the new guy, trying to figure out what my role was, it's difficult to pay attention to the other specialties like that. It wasn't until my third deployment, that was after I got back from Ranger school. So I had a little bit of standing at that point, and you can go out into your specialty units. So my third deployment, started talking to the canine guys. There were a lot of guys that had left and they needed guys to backfill. So that third deployment was a lot of hands-on with the other canine trainers overseas. So I got to more hands-on obedience work, a little bit of decoy work, see what it actually was. They got to see how I was with the dogs and if I was going to be a good candidate for the canine handler program. So after that third deployment, we got back and I got selected to go through the course. And that's where I ran into Trent, and he was my instructor through the canine handler course.
I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah.
We know Trent.
Yeah. Fucking Trent. I'm sure it was 100 miles an hour.
That's what I say. It was not a slow speed.
No, that dude does not do anything slow. So that was really your first interaction. So when you come back, talk about how they do the selection process for you guys, and then talk about getting the dog.
Yeah, so we had a handful of guys, and they really select who they've seen with the dogs and who is comfortable and who can actually work with them and learn the job. So for the most part, as long as you're doing well in the course, you're able to pick up all of the skills, you're going to be able to get a dog and be attached to a platoon. Going through the course, there were some guys that were just naturally better at the job than others. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the entire process, the psychology that went into working with what I had always just known as a dog, a pet that you can work some obedience and teach them some cool tricks, but to get with the dogs and to see their personality and their drives and what they're actually capable of, it was absolutely incredible. And by far the most fun that I had in the military was working with the dogs.
So back then, when you get selected to go through, is all the training done in-house there in Benning, or did you go to Von Lick, or did you go somewhere else to do the training?
Yeah, I think I was part of the second or third class that they did it in-house with Ranger Regiment. Mm-hmm. Before they did it all through Von Lick, and it's a longer course. And from what I was told from the guys that kind of stood up the program. There was a lot of really good information that you get there, but not all of it is applicable to what we need. So to kind of trim the fat, they started up their own program, did it all in-house. The guys are a lot closer to home, and they can really have full control of what's going on in the program.
How do they select back then? How did they select what dog you would get? What was their analogy in pairing that?
I think their initial thoughts are figuring out personality types, you know, the dog with the handler, but then as you're working through it, you can always figure out, well, this just isn't going to work, or, you know, we need to cater a little bit more to this team to get them to mesh well so that they can just figure out each other's personality.
So who did they pair you with first?
Oh man, I have such a hard.
It's never this first dog you deploy with. It's
No,
never.
No. God, I always forget the name. My first dog, but I had him throughout the entire canine handler course, and then one of our trainers, or one of our handlers, he got dropped from the course, and he had this new dog. He was an absolute stud. He was young, he was driven, super aggressive, very intelligent, but I was happy with my dog. And so they switched me over to this the younger dog. His name was Jany, and I was working with him, super frustrated because he's just all over the place. And I had gotten used to this other dog he had some quirks from previous deployments, but working with him, we were able to work really well together and actually work through a lot of the issues that he had. And I was able to work really well with him, got to know his personality, meshed really well. They dumped this dog that was just purely insane, gave him to me at the end of the course, right when we were doing our qualifying lanes. And I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing right now. Like, this dog is nuts. Like, so it was really fun, but we very challenging. We figured it out pretty quick. You know, his drives, his behavior, his cues that he would give you. He was really easy to read and very intelligent. He could go out searching for, you know, you can send him out for a bite or for an apprehension, and easily on his own switch over to odor if he got into it. And it was just absolutely impressive to watch a young dog be able to do that.
So the first dog that they paired you with, we always like to ask guys that were working with a couple different dogs, what did you really like about that dog, and what did you ultimately dislike?
I really liked that he could turn it on and off really easy. He was a moderately mannered canine, great drives, but he did have some quirks. So that was kind of the difficult part, being a new handler and trying to fix these issues that a dog has from previous deployments, and never being part of any of that experience that he had, but still trying to get him to do what you want, and you know, in the proper way. So some challenges, but all in all, I really enjoyed that dog. And, you know, being a first-time handler, it was difficult letting him go, but he went to a local police department, and I know that he just absolutely crushed it.
Thrived, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of departments that are within the state of where some of these special operations bases are that get dogs from those programs all the time, and every one of them say the same thing, that these dogs are awesome, like everything we thought they were going to be.
Incredible that they have that established, that we're able to give these departments absolutely incredible dogs. You know, they might not be doing optimal in our field of work, but for them, oh my God, they're amazing dogs.
I found my brief time working for that contract for Cobra Canine on the West Coast was when the dogs came back. the great dogs. The corks always tended to revolve around the massive amount of constant gunfire that they're around. That it always just seemed to. It's not something that we're used to here. The dogs here just aren't used to that. And dogs prior to the GWAT weren't used to that. And going forward, they might not get used to that, but or be exposed to that, I should say. But we had dogs coming back that you could tell had a little bit of quirks, and they had great deployments, great dogs. It was just nonstop gunfights all the time. Just took its toll on them.
Yeah.
And but that's good. So then a dog like that can end up going to a police department who's not gonna have that,
No, that's what Eric says. We tell people all the time. Yeah, that's what we tell people all the time. Gun calls are not dog calls. In law enforcement, you fucking shoot people in the face. You don't bite them. So you get Jany. You guys get trained up, and then they send you guys back over. This is like mid 2013 ish, right?
Yeah, I think it was about mid-September of 13. Went on my fourth deployment, first as a canine guy, and I did that entire training cycle. It's about a 7-month training cycle that I was able to do with Jany. We bonded really well. We were able to develop together as a new canine and a new handler. So that was a really fun experience. Got overseas and started working as an attachment and just really enjoyed the work. We're in Kandahar, so
busy,
very, very busy there. Doing a lot of landing on the X, and guys just running from us. So
running for us would be nice. Hey, go ahead and run out there for me real quick. Right. And Jany.
So being the canine guy, that was like best case scenario. The first apprehension that we had, we landed on the X. There were 3 guys that actually took off and sent out Jany, and he just started searching for this guy. Smelled him out in a bush, went in, apprehended him, dragged him out. We were able to subdue him, got a release, and went after the second guy. Chased him down. He was down in this ditch, so was able to get the dog to apprehend him, and with the use of a long leash was able to manually remove him from the ditch with the dog. And the platoon sergeant that I had, guy was an absolute nut. As I'm apprehending the second guy, he just takes off after the third guy. He's like, I got him. And about 2 minutes later, he comes back with the third guy, just walking nonchalant back to the target. I'm like, man, you're fucking nuts, man.
That's funny. I kind of thought that story was going to go. He went after him, and then Jany apprehended the sergeant.
That's where I thought that was going to. I was like,
No, it was just 3 guys running from us. Picture perfect. First, second apprehension. The third one, platoon sergeant just wanted to get him on his own.
That's a whole fuck yeah situation there.
I mean,
fuck yeah. We got 3 of them.
All right, we're gonna take a break real quick. When we come back, we'll talk about some more deployments, and then we'll talk about the salute that everyone I'm sure knows. So everybody, don't go anywhere. Don't fast forward through the damn commercials, and don't ask me what the damn discount codes are, because I don't know. I don't know. I have to listen to the episode too. I had to look at it, but if you want to look at them, they're in the show notes. So just scroll down. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a second. HITS Canine Training Conference. This is America's premier canine training seminar, packed to the brim with the world's best instructors and me and Eric, all covering important topics. There's no better place to learn and no better place to network with other handlers, breeders, and trainers. HITS 2022 is being held in Orlando, Florida this year, August 16th through the 19th. And I know how you guys are. Everybody waits at the last minute. And in the post-Rona world, everybody's training budgets are being cut and everybody's deciding whether they're going to be able to get to go or not. So don't wait, because they're not going to have an infinite number of spots. and the price goes up after a certain date. So get signed up as soon as possible. It's in Orlando. We'll see you there. Be sure to hit them up. Hits Canine, letter K, number 9.net.
One of the best relationships we have in this podcast and in this industry is with the great people down at Kinetic Dog Food. The story of Kinetic Performance Dog Food is pretty simple. They wanted to make a better premium dog food for the dogs that need it the most. Their goal is to give every working and sporting dog a higher energy level, better performance, and better overall health through superior nutrition. So they formulated a line of food based on what they considered to be the optimal profile of a performance dog. They've done tons of research on this. This isn't their first rodeo. These guys know what they're doing. If you're a kennel, they will come to your kennel. They will see the problems that you have. They will check out what works for the dogs that you have. They're amazing people to work with. They drop ship a pallet right to you if you want. I know a lot of guys that use them. There's a bunch of different formulas on there, and 32K might not be for your dogs. Maybe the 26K works. They can adjust it. They'll give you the right ideas what to do in different parts of the year. Winter's different than summer. It's really a well-run, good dog food company. KineticDogFood.com. Be sure to check them out on social media too, man. They're amazing folks. KineticDogFood.com.
By now, you've probably all heard my story at least once. I'm usually getting tagged by dogs or hurting myself. So this next product is like near and dear to me because I actually use it. Quick Turn by Vet Care. It does great for keeping small things from turning into big ones. I use it at the kennel for clients' dogs that have some issues with skin stuff or have food allergies or have environmental allergies. Works great. Keeps hot spots from making giant hot spots. And it keeps my working dogs who inevitably find magnificent ways to hurt themselves from turning it into a giant vet visit. Stops little issues from becoming big ones. So it comes in a spray, it comes in an ointment, it comes in a dressing. It's great for creating a protective barrier and promoting wound healing. You really only have to use it like once a day. So there's no reason not to have it in the vehicle. Since it's temperature stable, you don't got to worry about it getting hot, getting cold, or anything like that. So put it in your first aid kit or put it in your cabinet. Vetcare.us on the internet. Quick Derm by Vet Care on on Instagram and on Facebook, and then hit them up with the discount code 10WDR for 10% off your first order.
So my entire time that I was a handler or a trainer in law enforcement, the cars at my department, in the departments that I trained, all had American aluminum accessory kennels in the cars. Different cars, man. Dodge Chargers, all Ford models, some Chevys, SUVs, cars, everything. We loved American aluminum accessories. It's a great product, a great company. They've been serving canine law enforcement community for over 20 years. If you check out their website, EZ, that's the letter Z, EZRiderOnline.com. They got testimonials. They got videos on how to. They got a list of everything they have. Just today, we made a post on the Working Dog Radio social media showing a dog that survived a really bad crash because of the American aluminum kennel in the back of the car. Check them out online, guys. EZRiderOnline.com. Just let them do their thing, man. Whatever car you got for your patrol car, get a hold of them, American aluminum accessories, and get the best in the business.
Next up comes training courses online from our friends down at Highland Canine Training, Jason and Aaron Ferguson. So in the post-Rona world, training budgets have been getting cut. People aren't going to be able to travel, whether it be instructors or they be canine handlers and supervisors going somewhere else for training. So Highland has announced a lot of online training courses. One of those that sticks out to me is their police supervisor canine course. And it's no secret that one of the problems with canine tends to be some of the supervision issues. This course is specifically designed for administrators and covers utilization as well as liability and FLSA issues. The course can be taken at your convenience, and you'll receive a certificate of completion at the end. When you go to Tactical Police Canine Training, that's letter K number 9, training.com, and use the discount code WDR30, you'll get 30% off of that course. All right, we are back. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite. We are with Josh Hargis from 375 Canine Handler, and we just kind of got up to the point where he has taken the new dog Jany that he spent 7 months with. And you're like, yeah. And first time out on the X, you guys got a couple of apprehensions. How many more deployment? Like, what was the deployment? Like, what was the rotation like? And you guys were super busy over there. Just from talking to like my other buddies that are there at the same time that you were, you guys were rocking and rolling like every night.
Yeah, that was the busiest deployment that I've been on, was in Kandahar. And, we do rotations. So I think ours was we went out probably every 2 or 3 nights. The other platoon, they'd rotate in and out with us. But as a canine guy, sometimes they need to, depending on the scenario that we're involved in. So yeah, sometimes it was just back to back.
Every canine guy we've talked to from Vietnam all the way up through has said, when you get over there as a canine guy, you get hoard out, for lack of a better term, where you're plussed up with this guy, this group, that group, that group, that group, all over. Some of them Marine Corps guys were saying they were getting plussed up all over the country, moved around, helicoptered over here, go out there, all over the place. Did you guys find that a lot, where you had to hop in with the other platoon quite often? Your days off were less or about the same?
Yeah, we can bounce back and forth between platoons, but we're still working within the regiment. We never really go out to the other units that are stationed at the same base. It's all in-house. They have their own guys, and from what I've heard, yeah, they get moved around a lot, and it's nonstop for them.
The other platoon that was there at the time, their dog guy was did he go through the class with you, or he'd been there before?
Yeah, it was a guy that he had been a canine handler, for, I think this was his 3rd deployment. And he had been attached to the same company as me that I've been working with all 3 deployments. So I knew the guy, had a great relationship with him, worked really well together. So that was, again, just ideal situation.
So before we get it, we're going to get into like a wild ass story here in a few minutes. But prior, leading up to that, what was the nose work side of the whole thing going? Everybody likes to hear the bite stories, but Ted and I are geeks. We want to hear what you find. What was the primary explosive they're using? What was a kind of a neat little find that you had there?
We didn't have too many finds. I guess the most interesting, it was all, HME and suicide vests in that area. The only find that we actually had was, it was a compound that was manufacturing suicide vests. So in, I guess, like the sewing room, we were hitting on odor nonstop, didn't find any explosives, but just hitting on everything in these rooms. And then also in the courtyard, the dogs hitting on where the vests were actually being stored in the meantime until they were being picked up by whoever was using them. So that was actually the only odor work for, as far as explosive goes. It was interesting getting those indications and being able to build that case.
Yeah, it's always fun on the LE side. Guy that I used to work with, he had 11 finds on one call with his dog, an explosive dog, which you don't really get to do in law enforcement that much. And it was same kind of thing, building a case against the guy who had smoked somebody and had all kinds of homemade explosives and stuff at his house. And
right.
He was a hillbilly tree stump removal guy. He made pipe bombs, and he would dig a hole under the stump and put the pipe bomb under it and blow that bitch right out next to your trailer. Like
that's some Oklahoma shit. That's some Oklahoma or Florida shit if I've ever heard it. That is like, people still do that here.
Ohio, buddy.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
No.
Well, I don't either. It's just, but that is some definite. Oh, I'm from Oklahoma though. We do that shit here. So we're at about September-ish, 2013. You're going out every 2 to 3 days. So early October comes around and you guys are still in Kandahar. So go ahead and talk about the night of October 6th from 2013.
Yeah. So went out October 5th. It was it just seemed like one of those targets that was going to be a cakewalk, just a compound out in the middle of nowhere, nothing really going on. I was getting really comfortable as the canine guy now. We'd gone on tons of missions, had about half a dozen apprehensions, done some older work. So, feeling confident, felt good about it. And that was just the general attitude that I had going out that night was just, all right, just one more. And we landed on the X and immediately got word that there was a squirter from the compound. So went with the interdiction team and absolute chaos just broke out then. As we're running after this guy, we're in this wadi, and up at the top of it was the target compound, and we just start hearing explosions go off. Absolutely no idea what's going on. There were about 3 that had gone off while we're chasing after this guy.
These are like pretty heavy explosions.
Yeah, pretty noticeable, like frag grenade explosions. So not really getting a whole lot over the radio while we're going after this guy. And we probably chased him down about, it's probably 100, 150 yards. And while we're running after this guy, hearing the explosions, the only thing going through my mind was, we got to get this guy, we got to get back to the compound, and, we got to get back with our guys. So as we're in this wadi, I actually see this engineer tape, the white engineer tape. I thought it was really strange that it was like a path was marked in this wadi for this guy, just engineer tape all the way from where we got in there through this entire path that the guy was running. So I was like, all right, I'm not leaving this fucking path. I'm going to run this thing all the way and get this guy down. So we get there, and we know that he is hiding in this brush. So as the canine guy, halt the team. I announced that I'm going to send out the dog and apprehend him so that we can just get this over and done with. Use red laser to indicate where the dog should go, and he followed it up and over just like we had been working on. And as I lost sight of him, heard another explosion go off, and just this deep sinking feeling that he was gone. Went up on the side of the hill in the wadi that we were in to look down, and it's just a burn patch where it had gone off. And we fortunately were able to stumble upon Jany's remains. He had his IR strobe was still going off on the back of his vest, and so we cleared up to him, and there's only the bottom half of him left. And so based off of what we were able to see and what was left of Jany, we were able to come to the conclusion that he has suicide vest. And whenever Jany tried to apprehend him, he clacked himself off and killed Jany in the process. So I was able to package him up, and that involved stuffing his intestines back in him, because I wasn't going anywhere without him, throwing him over my shoulder and carrying him back to the target compound. Once we got back there, we got up to our external security. I was able to put him down, pull the flag out of my kit that I carried with me, because I didn't really have anything else to wrap him up with. laid him down, wrapped him up, and kept working. Back at the compound, it was just absolute chaos. There were team members that were already deceased, other team members that were actively getting worked on, and being the canine guy, my role was over and done with, but that was the point where I had to fill in and just help out the guys, anything to accomplish the mission and get back home. So that involved either getting from somebody to work on, or our EOD tech, he was off to my left about a buried IED. And that kind of let it sink in that we're in the middle of a fucking minefield.
Yeah.
And so that just, absolute fear of God. And, hindsight, there should have been a freeze call made at that point, and everybody should have been, worked out of there. But heat of the moment, nothing goes to plan. So I think it took about 2 more steps, and I ended up stepping on a pressure plate. I remember going up, coming back down, hitting the ground, and just didn't really know what happened. And then I could hear the platoon sergeant. He called out that he didn't know who it was, where it was, and then I realized, shit, that was me. And so I yelled out to my guys. I was like, fuck, I'm over here, guys. It was me. I'm over here. So they ran over really quick. I think it was either our EOD tech or our PJ was the first one on me, and started throwing tourniquets on. I had no clue what was going on. No clue my legs were gone. But I was on the ground for about an hour and 45 minutes before I got exfilled. And through the entire time, I was conscious, coherent, talking to him about everything, asking if my legs were gone, kept bugging him about my hand because it was all chewed up. And I was actually able to let them know that I had a tension Nemo, laying on the ground, talking to him the entire time. After a little bit, started getting short of breath, lightheaded, and I was able to communicate that with my doc, and it was like an oh shit moment. But because of that, they were able to get the needle Ds in really quick and get the breathing going. So really unique experience. I can say it now, being 8 years after the fact. Really cool that I was able to be coherent through it all. And
yeah, that's crazy.
Actually remember so much of it, and help them, through some of the first aid stuff that was going on.
Yeah. When you said you remember going up and down, that's nuts.
Well,
that's nuts that you remember that.
It was like a weightlessness, and vividly remember to this day, while I was kind of suspended, like that suspended conscious feeling. Sorry, it's a hard one. Seeing my wife and my unborn child's face. we found out about a week and a half before I got blown up that my wife was pregnant. So
Oh,
kind of had that vision during that weightlessness, and yeah, one of those things that helps you fight through it all.
so I mean, this is just pure chaos and pandemonium, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The guy runs off, blows up the dog and himself. Other guys in the meantime have also been killed by other explosions there. In hindsight, looking back on it, I'm sure pretty quickly they figured out this was a bait trap, that they knew you guys were going to come at some point. That was the thing. I'm going to run. They're going to follow. They're all going to come across this thing, and all this complete mayhem is going to continue to go on. I can't remember if you said, or if it was in the article I read, that a female came out and clacked off a vest there too.
Yeah, so part of this were interdiction team. We were completely removed from everything that initially happened at the target compound, but later found out that absolutely a bait situation where our guys got into the target compound, and as soon as we started the call out, the batteries are connected, all the IEDs are hot, and it was a good luck situation for us to get out. As they did their call out, one of the guys, he got a hold of one of the detainees, and as soon as he got his hand on, the other started to run towards him. And before he was able to engage the threat, she clacked herself off.
Oh my gosh. I told you guys, this is a wild story. It's a wild story to hear. And I had gotten out to the West Coast on the 21st of October for that contract job. And I remember hearing about that as soon as I got there. It was October 21st, that I got there. So it's 2 weeks later that I get out there, and the guys are all talking about that. And it was just, the entire thing sounds just unbelievable. So they, both your legs are gone. They got you tourniquet. They have the gel, basically. How are they keeping on the field? The hour and a half is a long time.
Yeah.
While they're waiting on to get you evac'd out. They get you out, and this is where a lot of people go, oh, I know this guy. They get you to the hospital, and I think it's like the next day they come in with the Purple Heart. Is that right? Or a day or two later?
I don't remember much from it, but yeah, I think it was either a day or two after they did the Purple Heart ceremony in the hospital, and I was unconscious, sedated for all of it. But I do remember just, quick little blips of what happened in there. I remember hearing that our the regimental commander was present, and it was just kind of like a jerk reaction to render a salute. So just kind of trying to get my hand free, and I remember feeling some resistance, but then being able to get my hand free, and then
that's being 9,000 tubes in your arm, probably.
Yeah, tubes, restraints, the nurse trying to keep me from moving.
So the commander comes in. What rank is that?
I can't remember if he was a full bird or a lieutenant colonel.
It's a fucking high one.
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Somebody in a corporate fears not saluting.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Yeah, unconscious, just come out of surgery, and everyone thinks you're asleep, and up comes the salute in the hospital bed, which went viral. Somebody got a picture of it. If you Google Josh, you'll find it, or coffeeordie.com has a really good article about it with a picture of it. And when I said the tubes and stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's the bandaged up hand. This was the hand you said was all mangled up.
No, my left hand was pretty messed up. I think my right hand it might have been bandaged a little bit, but it was
maybe got burned or something.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on with your left hand? How'd that come out?
It's still pretty good. I have some just some scarring. My thumb's a little bit shorter, but
that middle finger's a little wonky.
Yeah, the middle one doesn't bend. It's fused on its own here. Extremely arthritic on the second joint. So I didn't want to let it go. They wanted me to cut it off because it was just going to get in the way, which it does all the time. But still have feeling, and I'd lost a couple limbs already, and I didn't want to voluntarily surrender some more.
That's nice. I'd be afraid to fall asleep. These some bitches are going to take this hand when I'm asleep
and take my shit away from me while I'm fucking asleep. Yeah, no.
Oh my God. So let's, I want to decompress a little bit. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the recovery, the prosthetics, and then where you ended up going on what kind of an awesome life you made out of all this. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. Don't fast forward through the commercials. I know you will, but at the bottom of the show notes is all the discount codes. We have great sponsors. Please be sure to check them out. We'll be right back. All right. We love the Perkinsons down in North Carolina at Highland Canine Training. They are great people, great trainers. They got a good business model. They're awesome folks. We've been with them for a long time. They're also super smart, and they understand that a lot of agencies are struggling to have manpower, so they're not sending people away for training. You guys have been there. You put in, denied, lack of manpower. So they've created an online course section of their website, tacticalpolicecaninetraining.com. You get on there under training, the online course. But here's the best thing is they offer a canine supervisor course, which we know a lot of police canine supervisors don't get to go to training. They don't know as much as they should. Right here online, the course discusses topics such as proper selection of dogs and handlers, proper deployment, effective allocation and utilization, as well as liability and the FLSA issues, which we know is where all the legal stuff comes from, interdepartmental. The course can be taken at your convenience, and you will receive a certificate of completion at the end. They're offering an amazing discount, guys. 30% off using the discount code WDR30. It's a no-brainer. If you're a police supervisor and you guys have manpower issues and you can't go, get on tacticalpolicecaninetraining.com under the training tab. Get on that supervisor's course, man. I'm telling you, it's a smart decision.
Another one of our favorite partnerships with the podcast here is the one and only Dogtra. The Dogtra guys have been producing some amazing tools in the dog training world for a long time. Everything from e-collars, GPS tracking, ball trainers. If it's electric and you use it with a dog, they've probably done it. They're the best. They are revolutionizing the way you communicate with the dog. I use it daily, whether I'm using pets. I use the 200C on most of our pets. Most of my patrol guys will use a 1900 hands-free, 1900S hands-free, and then I use the ball popper pretty much daily with all of our detection dogs for imprinting on our box protocols. So hit them up at Dogtra Official on Instagram and Facebook, and then you've got dogtra.com. And when you go there, if you use the discount code WDR10, they'll give you 10% off a single item over $200. So if you're looking at a 1900S or that Ball Popper Pro or one of those things, it'll knock a substantial chunk off there. So hit them up, doctor.com, WDR10.
So everybody knows that Ted and I not only train police dogs, we train pet dogs, right? We train dogs. So it's why our relationship with Ray Allen Manufacturing is so important. These guys have been doing this so long. They knew and they understand that dogs are dogs, and it's not just working dog people that need things for their dog and dog training. So you go to rayallen.com. They have everything dog related that you need. Anything that when it comes to dogs, pet dogs, your pet, training dogs, police dogs, dogs you're training for other departments, anything you need, rayallen.com. They've got it. You can get on there. So if you're ordering stuff for police dogs, and if you have a pet side, you can get it all in one, man. They ship it out. Got a nice big box full of a whole bunch of stuff. There's nothing better than getting a big box of dog training stuff in the mail. They also are great to us, and they offer a discount code Working Dog Radio, all capital letters, Working Dog Radio, for 10% off. Check them out, rayallen.com. Great people. Ted and I use them every day.
Super excited to have American Aluminum Accessories on board with us here at the podcast. These guys manufacture a wide variety of products, from high quality cam locker toolboxes to an extensive line of products designed to meet the ever-changing needs of the law enforcement community. Around 1992, due to the demand for safe and secure transport for a local law enforcement agency's Canine unit, they introduced the very first in-vehicle Easy Rider Canine container. So it was basically what we now call just our inserts. They have continuously grown and expanded the products, catering to the needs and the wants of their valued customers and high-profile clientele, and catering specifically to law enforcement. Over the years, as the needs have changed for law enforcement, they've evolved and expanded the products to include inmate transport systems, the canine training aids, which I use quite a bit of, canine inserts. Every one of my guys has one of those things. And if you're not even have to be in law enforcement, I have several friends that are civilians that work lots of dogs that have the inserts put into their cars too. So if you got one that fits, you can do it. They also do contraband and animal control systems, just to name a few. So be sure to hit them up. The website is Easy Rider Online. So that's the letter E, the letter Z as in zebra, rideronline.com. If you're looking for them on Instagram and Facebook, it's American Aluminum Accessories. Feel free to hit them up there too.
So our first and oldest sponsor that's been with us from the beginning is Arno out at ALM, out there in Las Vegas area. Arno is a great dude. He makes great stuff for police work and sport work, suits, tugs. I'm telling you right now, his tugs are the best in the business. You can't get any better. Multiple colors. I buy boxes of them from him, give them out to everybody. I've got a bite suit from him. Love it. I've had it for a little over 3 years, and it's holding up like a champ. Ted's got a suit that he's had forever from ALM. We wouldn't go anywhere else, man. We love it. Arno is such a good dude. His ALMK9equipment.com is the website. Get on there. He's got pre-made suits. He can do custom suits based on your measurements. He's got stuff already made up. If you kind of get a kind of generic large size, maybe for everybody, the colors he has, man, is really cool. He can put a lot of stuff on those suits. Check him out. ALMK9equipment.com, and use the discount code WD Radio for 10% off.
Running a kennel is one of those things that I always worry about, is cleanliness and safety of dogs. And it seems like it's an ever-changing issue, being able to house dogs and move things around, everything else. So the guys at Horizon Structure make this as easy as possible. Literally, the only thing you have to do is have water and power hookups, and they deliver it, and you can put dogs in that day. And it comes on a trailer. They just drop it off. You plug it in, put dogs in it, and you're ready to rock. You keep them clean, you keep them safe, you keep them cool in the summer and warm in the wintertime. And it's completely custom. You can go mild to wild. I've seen some that were stainless steel all the way from top to bottom on the inside. And then I've seen some for a bulldog breeder that, had smaller gates because those things can't jump. So if you reach out to them, they're sitting there waiting for you to call and help you through the custom design process. They have everything from 2 dog ones up to, I want to say like 18 or 20. It's you can put a lot of dogs, indoor, outdoor runs. So anything you've ever dreamed of, they've got it, have done it, or can do it. So they've taken all the guesswork out of building it. Everything is pre-done to your specifications, and it's assembled, dropped off, boom, you're ready to rock. Things are amazing. Rigney has one. We've had him on the show a couple of times. Go check out his Instagram, and you can see he's posted it up there before. Go look Horizon up at Horizon Structures, spelled out. On the internet, it's horizonstructures.com, and you're going to look for the link in there that says commercial dog kennels, or give them a call, 888-447-4337. They'd love to talk to you and get you started on the way.
All right, everybody, we are back. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite. Some of you probably listened to this, had to go make a drink after that story. We told you it was going to be, it's a crazy one. It's insane. And we're so happy that you survived it. I can't imagine physically and mentally what the recovery was. I would think that, guys from 375 BCO, maybe mentally are a little bit stronger to get through it, but you're a freaking human being. So talk a little bit about the recovery, and like how the prosthetic thing came, what that was like, how kind of, I'm so fascinated about how that journey began.
So it actually started in Germany. I got held up there for an additional 10 days. And mind you, there was a government shutdown at the time. So that's kind of how my story, or the picture of the salute, got to be such a big deal, is just the political setting at the time. So the early survivor death benefits weren't being paid out to the families. So there were people that were donating their private jets to fly family members around the U.S. because the government wasn't assisting with any of this stuff. Being held up in Germany for 10 days because I had fluid on my lungs and I wasn't able to fly. Under normal circumstances, my wife would have been flown out to be with me. But because of that, she had to sit at home and wonder if I was going to die at any point in time because of infection, which very well could have happened at any point.
I don't know how it doesn't happen with so many open wounds,
Man,
it's amazing.
I was going through recovery in San Antonio, and there was a guy that came in. I was about a month or two post injury, and he came there from a gunshot wound, and I was like, oh, like super glad this guy, like it was just a gunshot wound. Like, I'm glad he's most likely going to have a great recovery. The next day I go in for rehab, the guy had passed away from an infection. And that was just like a ghost white moment of like, holy shit. I never realized how close to death's doorstep I had, and I still am, because I had open wounds for nearly 3 months after I got injured.
And so going back to when it happens and when you're in the hospital and they got you sedated and everything, was it just constant pain? Like, because pain drives people insane. It really causes a lot of problems. How did they mitigate that? What did they do for you? What was that like?
No, they got stuff for that.
Yeah.
They got that magic little button.
Fucking button. Yeah, fucking button.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an epidural, the lower back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had one of those in, and man, when those things came out, yeah, felt a lot of pain. If they move just a little bit and they're not in the right spot, yeah, I could feel everything. And I noticed that I didn't have legs anymore.
Yeah.
So that was absolutely brutal. But one of the things, going back to being on target, one of the things that got me through that, those little fentanyl pops.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are fucking magic.
Yeah, I've heard the stories about those, about people's dog lighting them up, and they turn to doc and be like, "Hey, let me get a sucker." I've heard those stories. So when you were in high school, I mean, you were a fairly athletic dude, but like, what sports did you play in high school? This becomes relevant here in just a second.
Yeah, no, I played recreational basketball through my church, baseball since I was a little kid, football in junior high, soccer all through high school. So always playing sports, always, outdoor camping.
Right.
It's just, I've been addicted to adrenaline from an extremely young age.
So the physical therapy process sucks. I mean, it's painful, it's long, it's boring, and you're kind of dealing with being a fucking Ranger, and now you don't have legs. So how did you transition into playing hockey? You didn't play hockey when you were a kid. And so now, during physical therapy, you somehow were like, I'm going to play hockey. And yeah, so give us that background. Give us that story.
Yeah, we don't want to jump ahead too far, but
Well,
we could talk for 3 hours about your legs. So we want to we're not Joe Rogan doing 3.5 hour podcasts. So we want to definitely, yeah, Ted is right, man. That's why I asked you earlier before. I'm like, wait a minute. He didn't say hockey.
No, yeah. That's why I brought it back up again. So people probably didn't remember from the very first of the episode. So, I mean, how did you get into the hockey portion?
Yeah, so hockey was kind of it's all part of that gaining independence aspect of going through physical therapy. You know, there are aspects of getting your legs and learning how to walk and working through all of those struggles. There is, and mind you, it's all coming from being a fucking Army Ranger and just a Billy Badass kicking in doors, running and gunning, to I don't have legs. I'm in a wheelchair. I am relying on my wife for my medications and for these shots that I have to take every day, and getting shit out of the cupboards because I just can't do it anymore, or for the time being. So absolute huge struggle working through all of that stuff and fighting to gain independence again, and to become, and to really just figure out who I am and who I can become and who I want to become. And through a program run by Operation Comfort, they're a nonprofit group out in San Antonio. They offer these programs where guys can opt out of doing physical therapy, and they can go and get on the ice or go hand cycle with other guys that are injured. So I went as much as I could, and I got on the ice, and I still had open wounds. So I had my prosthetist make a cover for my legs so I didn't get banged up, and just got on the ice and started skating. And going through the constraints of not having legs and being wheelchair bound at the time, being able to get on the ice and going fast, being like feeling free, and being able to work together with other people again, it helped me forget that I was disabled. And to this day, it still gives me that. It's, you know, you suit up, you get in your sled, you get on the ice, and it doesn't matter what your disability is, lower body, it completely takes it out of the equation, and you're really just not disabled anymore. I'm out on the ice all the time with able-bodied guys, you know, stand-up hockey players, and I can make these guys look like shit sometimes. So it's
yes,
it's a lot of fun, and it's taken a really long time, but through discipline, dedication, hard work, sacrifice, all of the cliches, all of the sacrifices that my wife has made, knowing that it's all to enable me to feel whole again.
Mm-hmm.
So for, you know, every single day after I found hockey, that was my goal. That was my mission set, was to become a member of the U.S. men's national sled hockey team and to compete internationally and one day at the Paralympics. And after playing for 4 years, I was finally selected to the U.S. national sled hockey team.
And then
that's crazy, man. That's so awesome. How many guys like try out for that?
Let's see, at tryouts, usually about I think like 60 guys.
Wow.
Showed up for tryouts this last time.
You guys actually won gold medal in the World Championships, what, 2019 or 2021, right?
Yeah, so I made the team in 2018. So I was I've been part of the team for the 2019 and 2021 World Championships, where we won the gold medal in both.
That's crazy. You had to have been like over the top with that.
Absolutely incredible feeling for to be there with all the guys that you train with, just nonstop. Everybody is there. You know, we all sacrifice so much behind the scenes to just be the best version of ourselves on the ice, so that we can contribute to that common goal. And for it to all come together after we play about 5 or 6 games through a tournament, it's it is the most enjoyable, just the most enjoyable battle, going from, you know, start to gold medal match and getting on the podium like that.
So in international sled hockey, who's our enemy? Like who should I hate?
Oh, Canada.
Canada? Okay.
Always Canada. It's hockey.
They're so polite, though.
It's hockey.
I don't know if Russia had something going on there.
Russia, they have a really good program, but ever since Sochi, they've been dealing with some
They've been fucking cheating.
Some supplemental issues.
They've been fucking cheating.
Yeah.
Like, and not just in hockey, like literally everything.
Right.
So
They get caught for you know, like for cheating, for
man,
you know, passing clean urine through walls.
Dude, that story is insane. If you're listening to this and you haven't heard the story of how the Russians cheated in Sochi, both at the Paralympics and in the regular Olympics, it involved like state sponsored, like the FSB and the KGB shit. Like they had government, like basically their CIA was helping the fucking Olympic team pass clean urine. I mean, they had special buildings fucking built. Like it was, it's crazy. I think there's a thing on, I don't remember, I saw it as like Netflix or something. There was a whole deal on it. It's fucking insane. Like when I watch, it's insane.
It's not unlike when Cheech and Chong, when Chong had to, Cheech had to piss dirty or piss clean, and he took Chong's sister's pee and used it.
Pregnant.
But she was pregnant, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
what if that's how they caught him? They had a pregnant dude.
There's a whole way. There's a whole thing about how they caught him. It was crazy. The World Anti-Doping Agency or whatever. I mean, they had some like weird value. Like they ended up catching him, and I don't remember. There's a whole story about how they did it, but it's fucking insane. If you're listening to this, it's a complete side thing. It has nothing to do with dogs. It's a crazy story though, and like anytime when you hear it, you're like, there's no way that they did this. No, fuck. I mean, and like they're like saying that Putin was involved or that he had knowledge of it. And I'm like, well, I mean,
of course he had knowledge of it. Get the fuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I'm like, when I heard about it, I was like, you're fucking kidding me. But
so your story's crazy because you didn't hockey. You didn't play hockey as a kid. You get on there, you make the team, you get, 2 championships. How many other guys on the team have a story like you that were not hockey players that just had the motivation?
There are about, I think, 6 or 7 military veterans, and pretty much most of us have gotten blown up overseas, either blown up or shot overseas. Amputations. We have one guy, he was military, but he was injured stateside, motorcycle accident. And for all the other guys, they pretty much, for the most part, they grew up playing sled hockey. So it's really interesting seeing these younger guys that are born into sled hockey, and then you get these older guys that, at 25, at 30 years old, we come into sport, we got to learn it from square one and keep up with these, 18, 19-year-olds that are just cruising through it all.
As you say, are they more finesse, those guys?
Yeah, definitely.
You guys just Me hit stick.
Fucking rock
Exactly.
smash.
Smash.
Yeah. No, it's for sure.
That's awesome.
I had a hard time whenever I first came into the sport because it was go out there, literally Ranger smash. And, all of the hate and anger that I was just holding on to surrounding everything, losing my legs and having to deal with this shit now. I created a lot of really bad relationships with guys that are actually my teammates now. So it was kind of unfortunate that that's how it turned out in the beginning. But they all know I'm a decent guy.
Yeah. So that's the one thing. The one thing about Rangers is no matter what your status is, you still can drink some beer. So there's always some, a way to mend some problems here and there over a pint.
Yeah.
You guys love to hang out, man. So is your wife watching off camera there? Is she sitting there? Or she's hiding the kids?
She's taking care of the kids.
We never get to we get a lot of guys on that have, had some injuries in service and stuff. Nothing crazy story like yours, but we never get to tell the wives how awesome they are. So be sure to, when this comes out, that she gets to listen to it and hear how much we support her and everybody supporting what helps you get to do what you're going to do. But now, so the goal here is to go to the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
But what's going on?
So, with all the COVID stuff, everybody knew that there were going to be some issues with the vaccinations, especially since the games are taking place in Beijing. So we had all anticipated Beijing implementing a vaccine requirement. And so as a team with the staff, we were all just kind of preparing for it, talking about what was going to happen, what we were planning on. But ultimately just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen whenever the playbook for the games came out. And unfortunately, the Team USA, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, they preemptively came out with their own vaccine mandate. And that, it fucking sucks whenever they came out with that, because then it was like a brick wall in front of a hurdle. Now we have to first get past our own country to represent the red, white, and blue. And if we're not able, first off, if you choose not to get vaccinated or you're unable to, then you have to go through an exemption process. And that is either a religious or a medical process. And it was a pretty narrow window, considering, we have trials, we have tryouts for these teams. So these are also things that our non-governing bodies are taking into consideration whenever they're selecting the teams. So, there were conversations that were had with the USOPC about, their reasoning behind it, what they're trying to preemptively address. And it ultimately just felt like a knife in the back to U.S. athletes, because if you didn't get vaccinated, if you didn't get your exemption, then now you can't compete at a world event, something that is supposed to be apolitical and is supposed to be the Olympic spirit is a stage for athletes to present, or for countries to present their best athletes. And with that, it becomes, here are our best athletes that we deem worthy. And for the others, your hard work, your dedication, your sacrifice is no longer valid in our eyes.
Yeah, even during the middle of hot girl summer, not this summer, the Tokyo Olympics, there wasn't a mandate from the U.S. Olympic Committee for the U.S. athletes, and I think like 80 something percent of, I think is what they reported, of our athletes were fully vaccinated, but they still had an additional 20 that were there that were competing, and I don't know. Like, I mean, it didn't seem to be a problem then.
Yeah,
and here we are.
0.0027 positive COVID test among athletes, and that is all athletes that were at the games. I think it was about 60 or so athletes that tested positive, but that, just looking at the numbers, they don't say if those are asymptomatic or not. And that was, at the height of this Delta variant. So if you go off of the same positive test rate among the Winter Games, or what is it for the Paralympic Games, that's a potential 9 cases.
Yeah.
So now how many athletes are you completely removing from being able to compete for potential 9 of the best athletes in the world, the healthiest athletes in the world, whose job, our sole job, is to take care of our bodies, to be physically fit, and to know everything that goes into our body and how it affects us. It all seems it's all just blatantly counterintuitive to what we are as athletes and the Olympic spirit.
And it sounds to me, by listening to their responses, they don't give a shit what you have to say. That they've decided that's it, period. They'll give religious and medical exemptions, but I don't know. They give those out, but do they really honor those?
Yeah, I was able to to apply for a religious exemption, and it was actually approved. But unfortunately, I got that approval letter a day after I was ultimately cut from the men's national team. I've been a member of the team for the last 3.5 years. Subjectively, I feel like I've only improved every single year. But the decision came down, and it ultimately is a team effort, and I understand why the decisions are made, and just considering everything surrounding it all, it fucking sucks. It does. What can you do?
There's no way.
You're fighting so much more than an individual.
Yeah. So prior to being cut, though, were they meeting? Were there practices? Were there you weren't vaccinated, but you could be around the guys, or how was that?
Yeah. So we'd actually been training, competing together since I think it was February of this year. And we held, 6 training camps, a mix of vaccinated, unvaccinated. We got into our bubble. We were able to train and compete without any incident. We got over to the Czech Republic. We were able to compete over there without incident. So, from our perspective, we were able to see that, yes, we can train, we can compete. With all of these precautions that we're taking, yes, there are a few extra steps, but if that enables us to compete and to do it internationally, then by all means, I'll wear a mask if that means I get to skate. I'll hang out in a hotel during a 2-week competition so that we can do this. And our program, the USA Hockey, they're our non-governing body, which is, kind of falls under Team USA. They were absolutely incredible through all of this. They allowed us the opportunity to still be part of the team, to train, to compete, and they were giving us enough time to pursue all of these exemptions, while we were still holding tryouts for the team.
That's so, I'm not even there, and it's just so frustrating. And you can hear it. Everybody can hear it in your voice. So what are we doing now? Where are we going forward? We being you mostly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's conversations that I've had with my wife about it. We're eager to kind of get past all of it, but at the same time, hockey has given me so much, and everything that my family that we've sacrificed, that we've worked for, has been to get to the Paralympics. And now that the rug is pulled out from under us, it's been a difficult one to deal with, but we're always moving forward. It's never going to keep us from being a happy, healthy household. So I'm still pursuing hockey, still trying to get to the Paralympics this next year. And so I'm on ice every day, training off the ice. I'm here with a group of about 10 guys that are on the national team. So we're all working together. And if, my part is just being here and training and pushing these guys, then that's my part. That's my role in these Paralympic Games.
Yeah. You're doing your part, doing what you can. And who knows what's going to happen, staying, just not quitting, not giving up, sticking, staying in shape, staying ready, helping is super important for the whole group as a whole. And I know the guys, they have to appreciate it. They can see it. They probably get bummed out, knowing that you're not there potentially. So we're going to go wrap it up. But before we do, is there anything you want to promote? Is there any groups or anything related to any part of your life or story that you want to maybe give a plug to, or anything like that? Any of their social media, websites, anything?
Yeah, man, there have been so many organizations that have helped me out along the way. Semper Fi Fund, America's Fund, Operation Comfort, who got me started in hockey, the Garrison East Foundation that my wife and I are working with right now to help us build a fully adapted smart home, so that we can kind of feel free in our own home and not limited by typical houses that just aren't built for people with disabilities and being in a wheelchair. So that's something that we're looking forward to, is being comfortable in our own home. Wounded Warrior Outdoors, they got me out, and they got me hunting. They helped me again just push myself to past my limits. As an amputee, being able to get outdoors and in the woods and hunt and just be extremely uncomfortable and eat shit over and over and over again, hiking through the woods.
You're like, it's like going through fucking Ranger selection again. This is great.
Yeah, but
they probably let you sleep at least, though.
Yeah.
They feed us a little bit better. But just finding these pieces that help me put myself back together, or remind myself that I still have these pieces. They're always there. They've just been covered up. They've been overshadowed by some are physical constraints, but a lot of them are just mental barriers that you just have to break down and work through in order to be comfortable and to feel confident again. And then also one last one, sorry,
that's right,
is Dog Nation. It's a group out of Colorado. They it's a nonprofit. They work with hockey guys and to help out families that are in need. And they're also raising funds to build a fully adapted ice rink in Colorado that will work start to finish, never having to change anything over from sled or disabled hockey to able hockey. So something that is built purely for the entire hockey community.
That's awesome, man. And that's a lot of funds to raise, because you're talking, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts with that one.
So before we go, the story with your dog and everything is amazingly touching, like tragic. Do you are you a dog guy still? Do you have a dog? Do you have a pet dog?
I do. I have 2 border collie mixes. One came off of a ranch, out of a cattle ranch out in Colorado, and then my 10-year-old dog, I had him before I got injured. I did all the obedience work with him when he was a puppy and trained him up as a service dog.
Oh, sweet.
Injured. And there's I have another picture. Got to the hospital, got to see him for the first time, and just dealing with the guilt of losing a working dog. I know it's it would be crazy for some people to think of, but just like a really heavy burden from being the one that made that decision that ultimately led to his death. Getting him back, I was in like a motorized wheelchair. He hopped up in my lap. It hurt incredibly bad, but seeing him and him just loving me unconditionally, that was I love that dog, man.
What's his name?
Dent.
Dent?
Dent, yeah.
I like it. I've never trained a Dent.
Yeah. Harvey Dent. And
I was going to say,
his face is split black and white.
That's what I was going to ask. It was like, yeah, Harvey. Yeah. So I was like, that's interesting.
No, duh. I'll get my head in my ass, because that should have been pretty obvious.
Yeah. He actually broke his back about 2 years ago. 2 years ago on Thanksgiving, broke his back, was paralyzed in his back legs. And I was out of town and just sobbing because we thought that we were going to have to put him down, but we were able to find a surgeon to fix the ruptured disc. And he's just...
Is that from being a border collie? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Border collie shit.
Collie, yep.
Yeah.
Now he's just a grumpy old man with a sore back, and he's
hey, that's me.
Okay.
I was about to say, sounds like Eric.
Yeah.
All right, man, that's so great. Do you have any social media of your own you want to plug?
I do. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is Josh Hargis 40. Don't expect to get too much content because I'm not crazy big on social media.
No, there's some good pictures of you and your family on there, though.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody looks very happy, so I love to see that. What about you, Ted? Where are you at?
Ted_Summers on Instagram, and of course we have working_dog_radio for the podcast, and then Torchlight Canine, letter K number 9, and then Torchlight Pets for all the pet dogs. We just got a mini Aussie puppy that we're training. His name's Kiwi, and he's like a little cotton ball with legs. He's super cute. So there's pictures of him up there. If you're listening, you can go look at him, and he's like wilderness airs, but he'll be done by then. But he's super cute. That's where we put all the pet stuff. The canine side is where we do all of the police doggo stuff. And of course, we got HRG. We also have the Patreon thing. Patreon subscribers. Eric's been putting up videos. I put up one the other day of my new Malinois puppy named Sapporo, working on his article indication and using opposition reflex. Eric and I talk about it all the time, but it was a good demonstration of how I use a leash and how I use, I guess, not a very normal way of using opposition reflex. I thought it was pretty normal. Somebody pointed it out to me. They're like, "Oh man," I'm like, "No, it's the same thing." But Yeah, so go find us there. Where are you?
Van S Canine on Instagram. That's where most of my stuff is. Ridgeside Canine Ohio is the pet stuff. If you like real cute, cool pictures of pet dogs, go check out Ridgeside Canine Ohio or any of the Ridgeside Canine locations. And then I have Van S Canine Academy on Facebook, which is mostly just the stuff I put on Instagram. So be sure to go to Van S Canine on Instagram. I've been, I had a couple of people reach out in October, go, man, listen, the some of the stuff you're posting is pretty cool, man. I get it. You took a break, but you got to get back to Canine. Cause my stuff apparently was weak in October. So, I'm back to posting police work dog stuff. And every time I talk about getting tattoos, people message me, let me see them. No, I am not taking my shirt off in this podcast and showing you anything ever. So, anyways, Josh, man, we got to tell you, Ted and I can message each other on this Zoom call, and we both agree that this is a top episode. Like, it's amazing. You've probably told that story a million times, but it's the first time I've heard it from you, and I loved it. And I really, really love the fact that you took some time to share that with us.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on. It's, I share it every time somebody asks for it. I never really have a problem sharing my story. It's always a difficult one to rehash some of the memories, all of the emotions that go with it. Can never get around those, but that's, it's me. It's who I am. It's a piece of me that I can offer to others so that they can kind of understand some of the struggles that people go through. They're all different. We all go through different shit, but that doesn't mean that anyone's struggles are less than mine, because it's just life. It's just stuff we got to work through and get past, and finding happiness. That's the goal. And, like you were talking about earlier, without my wife, I doubt that I ever would have been able to find happiness again.
Yeah. It's incredible, man. She, tell her again, thanks for letting us steal you for a little while.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.